How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? This is the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince, and we come to you each and every day with exciting HBCU news, in particular that of my beloved Prairie View A&M University Panthers. Today is no exception to the rule. We have been fortunate enough to have join us on today none other than the newly appointed football coach of the Prairie View A&M University Panthers, Coach Eric Dooley. How you doing, Coach? And welcome aboard, sir.
I'm doing well and happy to be here.
All right, happy to have you here. Let's get straight into this thing. I know there's been a lot going on, and what we try to do is to make sure that when people come in town, they know that we got them going and coming. And to get everybody up to speed, believe it or not, people are going like, still, who is Eric Dooley? Give us a briefing on who Eric Dooley is, and we'll get right into this thing.
Well, just on a short note, Eric Dooley is a young man born and raised out of New Orleans, Louisiana, and happened to be an individual that played in the SWAC for 4 years and been coaching in the SWAC for 21 years and have a desire and a love to continue to coach in the SWAC.
Now, a lot of people have been talking about Eric Dooley, the coach. Let's talk about Eric Dooley, the man. You had a lovely set of young ladies with you at the press conference. Introduce them and how long you've been hitched. I call it hitched, you know, and just help us get introduced to your family.
Well, I've been blessed and fortunate to have a wife to stand by my side for 22 years, and she's always been in my corner, and she's been really my support and my backbone in everything that I've been trying to accomplish upon my career, and she's been there for me. I had two of my daughters, but my oldest was still in Atlanta, Georgia. She's a lot older, so she's out on her own right now. Well, technically, she's out on her own. And I had my other two daughters, which was Katara Dooley, and she just recently graduated from Grambling State University and will be attending the nursing program here at Prairie View A&M University. And then I had my youngest, who I think is the one that likes to coach from the stands, and she knows everything, like to get after the officials, and if things are not going my way, she still want to get after everybody and blame everyone except me. So those young ladies have been a part of my life, and I mean, it's a joy to have them and have that support.
Now, it's no doubt that when you hear Eric Dooley, and some people it might get old, but trust me, don't get old to me. When you give reference to God, which lets me know that you're connected faith-wise. And I know people say, well, I don't want to hear about all that, but you can't talk about anything else until you have your base ground established in that in your faith walk. Is that safe to assume about Eric Dooley?
That is, because, you know, a lot of folks don't want to hear that part, but, you know, without him and without that faith, I'm not here today. So I do recognize that, and I'm always going to give reverence to him, because I know it's not just me, it's him inside of me.
There's an old saying, them that are first shall be last, and them that are last shall be first. 20 plus years as an assistant, and you finally get that day. You said something that registered with me when you said this was ordained. And a lot of people don't understand, and I'm not going to turn this into a sermonette or anything like that, but when God says that he knew every step and every foundation when we were conceived and while we were yet still in the womb, explain to those who may be trying to wrap their head about what did you mean when it said ordained?
Because, you know, a lot of folks look at where you've been an assistant for a long time. And, you know, I had folks tell me, you've been helping other folks to build a program. When are you going to get your own? And, you know, sometimes it gets to you and you don't want to think about it or talk about it. But, you know, at the end of the day, I go back to my word. I mean, it's been ordained. He was preparing me for such a time as this here, and he wasn't going to let me go until that time came. And so I know once that opportunity presented itself with Prairie View A&M University, it was my time.
Well, a lot of people don't realize the scripture also says that one day with the Lord is equivalent to 1,000 years.
Absolutely.
And mathematically, brother, if a person is 40 years old, that means they've been in the presence of the Lord for 1 hour. So really, God had you waiting for about half an hour. He said, wait here half an hour when I got a head coaching job coming for you at Prairie View. What you think about that?
Absolutely. Our time is not his time. So that's
right.
Why I say when it was appointed to me, it was on time.
It was right on time. So we got that out and established. Now you coming in, what is the Eric Dooley scheme on the offensive side of the ball?
Well, my scheme is a fast-paced offense, and I like to tell folks I'm going to play basketball on a football field.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
of course, it's a no-huddle, fast pace. We're trying to get the ball out, but we do have the ability to slow it down and run other offense. So it's a multiple set, but I think it's very, very high-tech, and it allows everyone to be a exceptional athlete.
Okay, now from my gathering, I'm an old linebacker myself. It appeared that you were running more of like a veer style offense when you were at Grambling. Is that some of the same type of style you're going to be looking for here at PV?
No, let me correct that. It was more of a spread style
spread
offense,
veer.
but the veer just came out to spread out, so it is the same type of thing technically. But yes, that's what's been a part of me all my career.
Okay, and now I'm personally, like I said, I'm an old defensive guy. When you get down into that red zone, Coach, it gets a little tough to move, without some big meat in that backfield and on that line.
Absolutely, and not patting myself on the back, but the last time I checked, I call it the green zone. I don't like to call red because that means stop. So I call it the green zone. In the green zone, we were actually #1 in the conference in the green zone. So it gave us the ability because we spread the ball around. It's not one person that we're going to go to. It's several guys that we have options. So it's been an ability, but we're multiple. So we can't get into that set where we're coming downhill, or we could spread you out where we spread the ball and throw it everywhere.
Okay, we're talking right now with head football coach Eric Dooley of the Panthers of Prairie View. We talked a little bit about the offense. What's the defensive scheme that you would like to have incorporated here at Prairie?
Let me say this here first before I move on to the defensive side of the ball. Let's not get it misunderstood because we're spread that we won't be physical. We'll be very physical. It's just a matter we're going to spread it out to create different mismatches. So that's why we like to spread guys out. When you talk about the defensive side of the ball, I'm looking for a defense, and I'm not going to say it this early because I know everybody trying to figure out what we're going to do. They understood what we were doing offensively, so they're gathering their film and things of that nature, but we're going to be a pressure defense. We're going to be a fast-paced defense. We're going to play it the same way we played on offense. Okay.
Now, I heard you make mention that Houston, for your recruiting purposes, has been a rich bed for running backs. So when it goes to D-line, O-line, receivers, what areas have been fruitful for you in your recruiting?
Let me clarify that again then. It has been a rich bed for running backs, but it's a rich bed for athletes. But when you think of Texas, you think of running backs because that's what comes out of this state. But I mean, throughout my years, I recruited a lot of offensive linemen, a lot of defensive linemen, as well as defensive backs. So I feel fortunate enough to be in an area where if I do not want to, I don't have to leave the state of Texas.
Now, we know you don't have to, but if you got one out there that's a gotta have, we got to bring him on here and put that purple and gold on his back.
We will go get him.
We're
going to the best quality athletes that's out there that can matriculate through the academic side of it.
I'm glad you brought up the academia side. There has been an increase upon the GPA. It's an increase, and does that restructure how you go out and add the pieces that you would need to have a successful program?
Not at all. I accept that challenge because we say so many times in our on our resumes and when we're speaking to ADs about getting jobs that we're looking for a high quality athlete. Okay, so now they're putting the foot to the fire. We got to go find that high quality athlete that can not only do to play football but can matriculate on the academic side. So that's what we want. We want guys that can do the work, and we understand that. So that's going to be the backbone of our team.
Absolutely, because we must stress student athlete first. We're talking football now, but whatever that sport is, student athlete. So when you focus on that, I would love guys to have 375s if we can find them want to come and fit that scheme. Speaking of the schemes, I know you hadn't had a chance to talk to your team just yet that you've inherited, but in essence, you're going to have to be recruiting twice, right? Keeping guys, letting them know, hey, everything is going to be okay, and then going to add the different pieces that you need to make a complete team.
I feel good about it. I know a lot of these guys, because when you talk about the Southwestern Athletic Conference, a lot of us recruit the same athletes, and you become familiar with those guys, and for various reasons they go to different universities, so you may lose some and you may gain some. So I feel like I know a great majority of this team right here, but I feel real good about it. I feel that they know who I am, and I definitely know who they are because I had to prepare to go against those guys. So we're recruiting to build to this team. because this is a team that, and when I say this is my team now, because I've been appointed the head coach, and I take these guys as I went out and got them myself. So they're a part of me, I'm a part of them. So we're going to build this team, bring some guys in to enhance the football team.
Okay, so with that being said, and I'm glad to hear you take on that ownership, what is the right now need for your team?
Right now, of course, we gotta shore up some depth with the offense and defensive line, and bringing some guys that's going to help out on the outside for us, the skilled guys. I think we lost 3 fantastic receivers that I love that graduated, so I know we have to fill that need. I think we lost a couple of linebackers. We have to fill that need, but the most part of it, I would say the defensive line that we have to get in.
Okay, very good. You're talking my language right now. I'm a defensive guy. I know offense bring people to the seats, but you can't hoist up a championship without a solid defense. I don't care if I score 50 points a game, they get 51, I still lost. You know, we got an exciting crowd, but I walk away with the L.
Not just the offense, not just the defense. You can't hoist up a championship without a special team.
Oh, no doubt.
I look at all 3 phases.
Yes, sir. No doubt. Because to me, the special team is an extension of the defense. That's just my quirky way of thinking. Because if I got a guy, you inherit a heck of a guy, Zach Elder, who can kick out the best of them.
Absolutely.
And you can play a position game and have that, then the defense do what they do, then that's 3 points. I credit that. I know it goes on the offensive total, but that's a defensive credit. That's just, I'm sorry. Linebacker.
But it goes back to what?
Teamwork.
One team.
Yeah, it's one unit.
That's right. Absolutely.
With three moving parts.
That's right. That's right. I like the way it's said.
Yes, sir. And I can deal with that all day long. Now, you're going to have naysayers wherever you go. Joseph had naysayers because he was his father's favorite. And we hear the saying all the time that favor ain't fair. You've had the opportunity now to sit and learn from some of the legendaries, the Eddie Robinsons. You learn from the Fob, who brought the touch of that Eddie Robinson back. You worked with Monty Coleman. You brought in 7 championships on your part. And I know, just as any competitor, I know you're saying, man, if I had the chance to do this, that, and the other. How is it now that you're actually in that driver's seat right now?
Well, let me say this here. Favor is fair for those that are obedient. So it is fair because you're doing what thus said the Lord. So the favor is going to come upon you. But right now,
Joshua 29:11, by the way.
The way to quote it. Actually, I mean, right now for me, it's over with because it's time to go to work. So I got to roll up my sleeves and I got to go to work. I was brought here for one reason. So I do feel blessed and fortunate enough. You know, you can live a long time and never reach that goal or never get to that high mountain that you've been trying to get to. But for the Lord to place this challenge upon me, I feel blessed. And now the only thing I know how to do is just go to work.
Yes, sir. Now, there's an old saying, you don't know if a mule can pull until you hook him up. You ever heard that?
I have, but it's been hooked.
And so, and you say that because, you know, you're going to have people that are going to be waiting, pouting. You're going to have people that's going to be waiting with anticipation, and that's all a part of it. Now, when you were reaching out and building, and I don't know if you can answer this, but maybe I can ask it this way. When you're building your team, what are you looking for as key components to help you build your team? I'm talking on the coach's side right now.
Well, from the coaches, I'm looking for honesty. I'm looking for the discipline side. I'm looking for figurehead role models that those kids can model their life after, because we're going to be a part of their lives basically 24/7. We're going to be the men that those families are going to trust their young men with us for the next 4 to 5 years of our life. So I have to bring that guy in that has the integrity to go out and reach the highest mountain regardless of what it is and how it come about. So I cannot just ask a guy to do it. I got to show it, because you know what? They always say, I may be the only Bible that they ever read.
Right.
So I got to give them the right lineup and let them know exactly what it takes. We're
speaking with Coach Eric Dooley, head football coach of the Prairie View A&M University Panthers, hitting the ground running, assembling his team, assembling recruits to add to the fold. Now, Coach, with all these moving parts that you have going on, you've had time. You said the mule is already hitched and hooked, ready to go. Would you consider yourself as an on-hands coach or a coach that empowers his staff to do what they were brought here to do?
they're going to have to do what they were brought here to do. If not, I need to take their paycheck. The paycheck needs to come to me. But I mean, I'm not that type of guy. I mean, those guys that are going to come here have great relationships. I know their body of work, and it's a trust factor. You've got to be able to trust young men and older guys to do what they're capable of doing. So I don't think I just have to do the managing side of it. I just have to make sure that the pieces are put together so that we can operate.
Now, so with that being said, that when the OCs appointed and the DCs appointed, they of course report to you because you're the head man in charge. So you just make sure that the engine is running smoothly.
Absolutely, but the engine is going to be equipped with what we've been used to doing.
Okay, and that is?
That is what I've been doing for the last 21 years, that same style offense. Now it'll be a different wrinkle because I never had the opportunity to say what type of defense, so it will be yet to be seen what type of defense it will be. But I can't say this here, it will be exciting defense, a good defense.
Okay, now of course, most conference and all college, everybody's a copycat deal, the spread offense, the 4-2-5, and maybe you can help this, we're in the same neighborhood. When did they stop calling it the nickel?
Well, that's when the new age came.
I'm going like 4-2-5. That is nothing but a nickel.
Everything comes full circle around. It's the same deal. It's nothing different. It's just someone came up with a name, and now I guess that's what they call it, a 4-2-5. But it's nothing but.
So you'll forgive me if I call it a nickel package.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, thank you, Coach. So I don't feel like a dinosaur around here anymore.
Absolutely.
We finally got somebody with some age around here that can understand. They want to call it all this, that, and the other. It is what it. Football is still football, right?
Still football.
It doesn't change. When you hear and see you talk about tradition, and a lot of people really don't understand what tradition is. Tradition is not just winning, but it is a sense of pride. It's also a sense of love and a sense of adoration for your program.
Absolutely.
When you see that, when you walk here, I know you're still getting acclimated to things, and you've probably been pulled every which way going up and down 290. But from your understanding of that tradition, what is it that you see that you could help enhance with your run here at Prairie View as far as tradition-wise?
I think my passion for what I love doing, my passion and the commitment that I'm going to bring to the table, the details that I'm going to bring to the table. But when you think about it, I look at the administrative staff that Mr. Robinson has assembled. I mean, the resources, I mean, it's been great for me. So when you have that type of support, then there's nothing else but to get in the driver's seat and drive it.
So just walk in, turn the key, and let's keep it rolling.
Keep it rolling.
All
you
right.
don't have to turn the ignition off. Just keep going.
just keep it warmed up and ready to go.
Ready to go.
All right. We're talking again with Coach Eric Dooley of the Prairie View A&M University Panthers. This is our first go around here on the Open Mic Broadcast Network and the Mike Prince Show. Coach, you probably have heard, but I'll tell you, I am the biggest fan. And sometimes the old deacon over here will say I'm probably a harsh critic. Okay. But I'm open, honest, and fair, and I was taught and raised that you say what you mean and mean what you say.
Absolutely.
And when you do that, I think it clears any murky waters, and everybody is able to do what needs to be done.
Absolutely.
And with that being said, you can't force people to accept your way of living. I'm going back to the faith base now.
Right.
And you said something earlier that you have to be the example, that living example of what these young men need to become. Because let's face it, a football coach or any coach is a leader amongst leaders.
Absolutely.
Because student athletes are future leaders, whether they're in the community, whether they're in a political realm, whether they're on their leads on their job. So how do you spread the message without spreading the message, if that makes any sense?
Well, just keep in mind we all are human, so we do make those mistakes, and my thing is just continue to walk that line of faith. Just continue to let him lead and guide me. If I continue to stay in the word and live by the word, then I think that example is going to always be met. If you take an individual and he doesn't eat the whole week, he's going to be weak. So if I don't get my word in the whole week, I'm going to be weak. So that's why on a daily basis, that's what I provide to myself, getting the word so that I can be stronger. So I know when those situations come, I know I'm not in it by myself.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're speaking again with Coach Eric Dooley. Coach, you made a mention in the press conference, and I'm just asking for clarity. You said you were brought here to instill some discipline. From outside looking in and from inside out, are you seeing where the greatest disciplinary need is? And if so, what is it?
No, when I say brought here for, that's part of me. I'm a disciplinarian. I don't know what they have gone through. I haven't met with the team. I don't know what they side, but one thing I do know, in 21 years, discipline has gave us an edge wherever I've been because of the factor of being disciplined and know how to take on situations. So I don't know if it's an undisciplined team, because that's not my thing to find out, but I will find out this spring, because I do feel the guys, I do know those guys that were here coaching, great group of guys and great coaches. So I don't know what they did, but it's my time now to bring on what I'm accustomed to, and that's discipline.
Absolutely.
Because that's where I gained that from Coach Pete Richardson. That's what he stressed. So that's what I know.
Okay, very good. Now, when you got this exception of being the head coach at Prairie View, you talk with Coach Favre. Did he give you any advice or recommendation on how to build your team?
No, he did not. But the one thing, because he and I are friends more than less, I was able to work for him. He just said that, man, I'm always praying for you, and I'm sure you'll do a good job. But I do understand those words, because it was kind of it was a tough situation, because we're close. We were friends before we worked together.
Right.
So it wasn't advice, but I've always been taught, regardless of where you left or regardless of who you know, if you don't know, you ask questions, because you'll never find out. I've never been afraid. My thing is, I'm gonna learn every day. So it doesn't matter who you are. If you 1 or 100, I'm gonna learn from you what to do or what not to do.
Absolutely. And with that approach, you'll forever be learning. Your knowledge will increase, because even when you think you know, you don't know what you know until you find out you didn't know it. So it's an every day of evolving and moving on. Now, here's another opportunity. You got a beautiful community right here in Waller County. I invite you, I encourage you. You got some great people in this area. Let us help feel what this beautiful edifice that we're looking at here from the Panther room, and get out here and as they say, I almost hate to say it, be a politician, shake hands and kiss some babies, and say, hey, I'm your new coach, I'm your new face, and let's go. We got 3 high schools in this. I'm talking about Waller County. I know Houston is a huge bed, but we got a lot of people that are hidden Panther fans waiting to be embraced.
I embrace that type situation, because I like to look at myself as a people person. I think I'm very approachable. I think I'm very easy to get along with. And I do understand they have different personalities in different situations. Everybody have an opinion. I accept that. So it's just the way that you carry yourself and how you go about it. But for us getting out into the community, that's one of my biggest goals that I would like to do, because I want them to know who I am, who we are as a coaching staff, and what type of team we're going to display. Because first of all, they come to pay to see a show, so that's what we got to put on.
Yes, sir. Well, I want to let you know on behalf of the community, I've been on the school board for 3 terms for Waller ISD. My wife works in Hempstead ISD, and I have connections at Raw ISD. And whatever we as a community can do, we're a phone call away. Absolutely. You got a $37 million school building right down the road that I'm proud to say my name is on that corner. And We're here as an ally, because Prairie View does produce productive people. You probably hadn't picked up on that yet, but you hear that a lot. Prairie View produces productive people. Coach, I want to thank you for taking time to sit down with us and introduce to the open mic family of who Eric Dooley is. I want to give you an opportunity now to share some closing thoughts and comments as we get ready to wrap this up.
Well, I've been honored to be here and just afford the opportunity to let the public know who I am. But more than that, I would like to invite the public to come out to our spring practices. Come out and see what we're doing on the football field. See the guys that are coaching the young men that we're bringing into the Prairie View A&M University family. And we embrace that, and we understand the situation. And there's always situations where, you know, you have closed practices. But to the alumni and to the fans, we invite that. We love that. We love that. Gives the kids to know that it's support out there, and they love the university.
Absolutely. Now you have the dates for those?
Yeah, we have some dates that we're going to start. I like to give the starting date because things changes because of weather or situations. It's a little different in the spring, but that very starting date is going to be March the 19th that we'll go out for our first spring practice.
March 19th will be the spring practice. You don't have the spring purple and gold game set. Do you have it?
We do, but I'll like to let Mr. Lewis will display that and publicize that at the time, because things could happen for us. You know how events come on. I'm easy to get along with. Whatever it takes to make Prairie View at the forefront, that's what I want to do.
All right, Coach Eric Dooley, head man of the Prairie View A&M University Panthers. Of course, I'm the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. You can follow me on Twitter at Radio Guy. Instagram is Radio Guy 22. Don't forget to visit the website at obn-radio.com. And when all else fails, you can listen to us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on your phone by simply dialing 605-477-5066. Until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.